Good morning. Welcome back. You're still watching Daybreak on this very first day of April 2025. It is also the day that many will love to call April Fools, but I hear it goes up to midday. Whatever you do, that information is up to you. But karibu sana. We are here to talk about different matters. If you have to look at the two dailies, the front page of the Daily Nation, Ruto's bombshell. The president vows to prove naysayers wrong by showing how his government has fulfilled its promises. It also highlights some of the major quotes, key quotes from his interview with media houses last night. President William Ruto has for the first time revealed the behind-the-scenes intrigues that led to the impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua as deputy president, claiming his former principal assistant demanded to be paid 10 billion shillings even as he picked incessant quarrels with MPs and government officials. It's a story that we'll be reviewing later on in a few minutes. On the Standard, 1 year on, no answers on General Ogola crash. And the other main story is human traffickers. The Standard is reporting of the rogue recruitment agencies continue to operate with impunity, preying on unsuspecting victims, selling fake dreams that quickly turn into nightmares of forced labor. On page 7, the story of Ogola continues to say that President Ruto reaffirmed KDF's commitment to transparency and promised to make findings public. And they're talking about a year has passed since the tragic death of Chief of Defense Forces General Ogola, yet the government has not released findings from its investigation into the military helicopter crash that claimed his life. In studio, I have the Member of Parliament for Belgut constituency, is also the chairperson of the Defense, Foreign Relations and National Intelligence Committee. That is Mheshimiwa from Belgut constituency, Nelson Koech. Good morning.
Good morning, Sam. Good morning, viewers.
And I'm told that your name is also Sonko. Is that so?
No, that's not true at all.
Okay.
It is occasionally used in the village, but
there's the other Sonko.
It's not in any way a reference of the Nairobi song.
Okay. Ogadeno Mushumbe is the Member of Parliament for Githunguri constituency and previously the chairperson of CIOC. Good morning.
Good morning. My other name is Madhi.
Oh, okay. Why do they call you that?
I'm a mother.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good. So what are you chairing?
Nothing.
Which is a committee?
I just give myself the chair of a coffee caucus in the National Assembly.
Is it official?
Yes, it is official.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Then we have Anthony Kibagendi from Kitutu Chacha constituency. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm also Vice Chair, Public Investment Committee on Education and Governance, and also a chair of a caucus in Parliament on creating awareness on drugs and substance abuse.
Interesting.
So we all have titles.
Do you have another name?
Yes, I have Kiba and Tuoma.
What does that mean?
Tuoma means people who can push things to work.
Okay, are you doing that?
We are doing that.
All right.
Thank you.
Karibuni sana. We have so much to talk about. We're still expecting the Cabinet Secretary nominee for Public Service, that is Geoffrey Ruku. He's also the Member of Parliament for Mbeere North constituency and sits in some few committees in the House. As soon as he's here, he'll be joining the conversation. But now, the last 1 week has seen, or rather the last few days, has seen a bit of reactions on the comments that were made by General Kahariri. He is the Chief of Defense Forces and has been receiving a bit of backlash from different leaders, including the former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. Let's listen to what he had to say in regards to the comments of General Kahariri.
So wakati watu wanaamua kwamba tumechoka na hii serikali na mulichagua wenyewe, alafu mnasema must go. That must go must be done according to the constitution. Si ni kweli?
So that was General Kahariri, and based on those remarks, the former deputy president has been speaking. We'll get that clip first, but also let me begin with you, Honorable Koech. Why this reaction from members of the public and the political class?
Number one is that, let me put it into context what, in my view, General Kahariri was trying to say. This was a public lecture. I had actually been invited that was done by the Director General of National Intelligence Service. This was the first of its kind. engaging the public, engaging the media on the role of National Intelligence Service on our national security system and infrastructure. In that context, then, General Kahariri, constitutional. I don't think there's anything that General Kahariri says that is unconstitutional. Yeah. He is simply saying that this must go. What does it mean? Because they have a view that many do not have, many members of the public do not have. They are privileged that the position they have. General Kahariri has a director of military intelligence. He knows what is going on in this country. Mm-hmm. Sam, let me tell you, our borders, Somali, Al-Shabaab is almost in Mogadishu. Ethiopia, there's a raging conflict between Ethiopia and Eritrea. Sudan has, violence that has escalated for very long. Mm-hmm. Southern Sudan, Riek Machar and the president have a conflict, and you can see that it is turning into kind of a tribal conflict. Inside our country, as an anchor of security, Kenya remains the only beacon of hope within the region. Mm-hmm. Any statement from the public or politicians that could easily trigger a situation that is happening within our outside our borders is a concern to our security institutions. And it is in that context that I think General Kahariri is saying, you can say Ruto must go, but where is he going? You gave him the mandate. The president is there for 5 years. Unless there's another mechanism that people seem to know, which is unconstitutional, then you wait for 2027 and kick Ruto out if you think that you don't want Ruto. Number two, he is also telling the public that let's be patriotic as a country. Let us give the head of state the respect that comes with that office. And giving the head of state a respect is not in any way wrong. So what General Kahariri is simply saying is that let us follow the Constitution. Okay. They have sworn to protect the Constitution, and that is why in issues where we have had, conflict in the country, violence in the country, we've always invited the National Defense to support the other security apparatus. Okay. So I think it was not out of context for General Kahariri. He is simply painting an image that as a country, we must be very careful with the statements that we make and the things that are done out there. I don't think in any way that it was wrong for General Kahariri to have made the statement. But needless, I must also point out that, because you mentioned the former deputy president, and I must say... I
want us to listen to that clip because you have it now on those particular criticism remarks.
Don't bring politics into the military. And for your information, hiyo Ruto must go, si kusema ati atolewe ofisi kinyume ya sheria. No. Watu is a clarion call in preparation for the general election. Ruto atatolewa kikatiba na uchaguzi wa 2027.
Hatutaki Ruto anaamrisha vijana wanajeshi wetu kutoa matamshi ambao hailingani na katiba yetu. Kwa hivyo hiyo ni onyo tu simple. Hatutakubali mambo kama haya.
Hatutaki tuone hali tena majenerali wanaanza kusomea wananchi. We don't want the military to intimidate the citizens of the republic. That gazette notice, we are demanding that it must be revoked na wanajeshi wetu wabaki kwenye barracks.
All right, so those are the leaders. Now, do you say in the opposition or where they are criticizing what has been going on? We'll shortly be listening to General Kahariri on what he says on the position of politics and the military shortly from now. Do you have that? Well, yeah, let's listen to General Kahariri.
This issue of how politics goes and all that, and by the way, the military, one of the core values is that we are apolitical. We don't support any political side. We defend the Constitution and the government of the day. All
right, Gadano Mushumba, do you think there's a problem in all those remarks?
You allow let me just make the last statement before you actually cut me short.
Okay, you finish.
Yeah, sorry to have interjected. So I was saying that the former deputy president, I wouldn't take him seriously in the context of what General Kahariri has said, because he literally had a fight with everyone in the security sector. He had a fight with the IG, he had a fight with the DCI, he had a fight with the Director of National Intelligence Service, now he has a fight with the Chief of Defense Forces. In my view, that is his nature. That is an unfortunate nature of permanently attacking the security setup of this country. On the other opposition leaders, it's an opportunity also for them to shine, because they really have nothing tangible to say about, what they will want the country. Sam, the problem that the breed of the opposition that we have, and I like my sister here that you're giving a chance, Gadano Mushomba. She is much better than the gentlemen you see there. They have absolutely no agenda. They have nothing to speak about. They simply are chasing clout. So they want, every time there's news, they catch up with news and seem to counter the news that have been said. General Kahariri spoke what is in the Constitution, that it is the reserve of the Constitution that they swore to protect. That is exactly what they are saying. There is completely, absolutely nothing that was off from the statement that was made by General Kahariri.
Okay, but also first to introduce the Cabinet Secretary nominee, Jeffrey Ruto. Good morning.
Good morning, Sam.
And congratulations on your nomination.
Thank you very much.
And it's great to have you this morning. Before we get to you, Mheshimiwa Wamushomba, do you see anything out of tune with what General Kahariri has spoken about?
Thank you for having me, Sam, and good morning to my colleagues. I'm glad to be here. As the outgoing chair of the committee that oversighted the National Assembly on matters Constitution implementation, I want to refer to the Constitution first to remind that the Kenyan people are sovereign. That is Article 1 of the Kenyan Constitution, which I'm holding here. Yep. And all sovereign power belongs to the people of Kenya and shall be exercised only in accordance with this Constitution. So when I listened to General Kahariri, I think he was, to be honest and to be fair to him, he mentioned something that is very factual. That really, if you have to remove the president, you have to use the Constitution. That he was right. The only thing that he was not right is to be seen to be speaking matters politics on matters defense, because we didn't expect such a statement from him, especially from such a forum. When he was wearing civilian, when he's doing a kind of a retreat, it sounded like it is a casual talk. Yep. I would have expected that kind of a statement if really he had to give such a statement as a CDF when he was a former, when he was formal. To me, it was a casual statement. Look at even the smile. Look at even the way he's putting it. So to me, it's like it was a by the way. But constitutionally, and let's be fair to the Constitution of Kenya, he said something that is actually the truth. Even during the Gen Zs, I kept asking the young people, who I call my sons and daughters, now that you are in the street, now you're saying that Ruto must go. What next? Are you going to do it outside the Constitution or within the Constitution? Because we must be honest with ourselves, that Kenya is a beacon of hope. Kenya is a peaceful country. We would want to uphold the rule of law. But that does not mean that we allow the generals to just, go to a wedding or a udhoni ceremony and just issue statements carelessly.
It was a public lecture.
It was a public lecture, I agree. Yeah. But I've said the weight of the matter at hand. We needed to see a more serious general referring to the Constitution in the right way. And it has stirred some political noise because he sounded like he denied he's apolitical, but he was meddling into the politics of this country.
Okay, interesting. Mheshimiwa Kibagendi, what's your take on this? Should he just keep quiet, keep his thoughts to himself, or it's okay to also express himself because he holds a position in this country?
Indeed, he holds a position in this country, but for a long time, Kenyans have not seen a CDF who steps out to speak on matters politics. Yep. And what General Kahariri mentioned the other day is genuinely, like my colleagues have said, in accordance with the law. It is the same thing that Honorable Rigathi Gachagua has said. He was very clear in the statement that you just we just watched on TV.
Yep.
He said there are no other means of getting the president out of power other than constitutional means in 2027 during the elections. And I believe that is what is going to happen. So we should not be creating a mountain out of an anthill. General Kahariri was being, while he was not in his official regalia, like Chairman here has said, they were in a public lecture where they're trying to like devolve and demonstrate to Kenyans what their offices are supposed to do for the citizens of this country.
Yep.
So what he said is truthful. However, like Honorable Mushomba said, it was too casual, and generally the generals, even in the past, most people haven't seen them speak on politics in the past. So it is something unusual. And again, for the politicians, of course, we have to make something out of it.
Yeah.
From Honorable Kalonzo, Eugene Wamalwa, Rigathi Gachagua, and even myself. And the other day I was with Honorable Jack Wamboka. He also spoke to this. But what we are saying is, going forward, they need to be clear on what actually is required of them. The Ruto must go is a spirit that is across the country. And Kenyans are not saying Ruto must go tomorrow or Ruto must go the day after or before 2027. It is just a clarion call.
What do you mean it's a spirit?
Everybody has it. It is all over the country. Even little kids in estates nowadays.
Including Koech.
Yes.
He knows that. He knows that. He may not say that, but he knows. Even Honorable Ruku, where he comes from, he knows that is a spirit that is across the country, that Ruto must go.
Wow. I can't speak about spirits. Mheshimiwa Ruku, do you believe that there's anything untoward from the general to speak, or is it just political fodder by politicians?
It's just political fodder. First, we need to appreciate what it takes to be a general. It's not a walk in the park. Very few are lucky to achieve that rank. And it takes a lot of discipline, determination, and commitment to serve this nation. Serious training, which this gentleman has gone through. And a lot of vetting for you to be in that position. So indeed is one of the most qualified person to be a general or in charge of the military of the Republic of Kenya. And such a gentleman, we can't sit here and say he has done this and that, which is not in accordance with the norms or rules or constitution of the Republic of Kenya. In his opening statement, he was very clear that military of the Republic of Kenya is apolitical. He made it clear.
Yeah.
That statement is clear. So I don't understand why any other politician would want to have a different meaning out of what he said. So from where I see
But is the clarion call that Mheshimiwa Kibagendi calls a spirit in the country, is it so high to an extent that it requires a general's comment?
Opinion of... We have seen in different functions, people saying Ruto must go, but also we are saying Ruto must go on, or Ruto must go forward in serving the Republic of Kenya as the president. And come 2027...
That's okay. The question is, does it warrant a comment from the Chief of Defense Forces? Because we haven't had such from General Kibochi, from General Gola himself, from the generals that have gone before them, the likes of Motete, the likes of Karangi.
He has a sacred responsibility to protect the state. Him is not after protecting the more so the government. The government can even corrupt, but the state cannot corrupt. The custodian of the state of the Republic of Kenya, or the custodian of the state of any nation, is the military. And that's a very sacred responsibility. The protection of the soul of this nation is the custodian of the military of the Republic of Kenya. And Kahariri is the guy in charge at the moment. So I think he's truly committed to seeing that the protection of the state is well done. And probably from where he sits, he needs to remind Kenyans that, guys, I was sworn in to protect the internal and external.
What do you mean, the custodian of the state?
Some.
Yeah.
Today, for instance, giving an example, if the government collapses, the international flight might continue. Who will take care of that? The international banking system must continue. Schools must continue. All these...
Where do you assign that responsibility from?
Let me say this. For those students of international relations of government or political science, they are taught how to differentiate between a state and a government. Okay? So the government, we have seen when Mwai Kibaki sacked all the ministers for quite a number of days or 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Then the affairs of the nation continue.
Yeah.
It proceeded. We have been in many occasions where we don't have cabinet secretaries or ministers in place.
But there's no role by the KDF or the military.
I just
want to understand, when you said that the military is the custodian of the state,
yes,
where do you assign that responsibility from? Is it extra-constitutional or is constitutional?
If today
yeah,
anything serious happen, aggression from outside of the Republic of Kenya, I don't know, coming from whichever nation or from whichever corner, from terrorists, who will protect the nation? It's the military. If anything today happen internally, a serious mobilization, probably, let's say there are some external forces mobilizing the young people, mobilizing whatever, and cause a great aggression within the nation. Who is going to protect the nation, the institution of this nation? It is the military of the Republic of Kenya. And that's why you saw in June, last year, Parliament of Kenya sanctioned the military to come out to the street so that it can help in protecting the institution of the Republic of Kenya. Critical institutions like Parliament, like judiciary, okay? Because they were almost getting into a state of violation. So it is extremely critical for whoever is in charge of military to remind us that, yes, we have freedom to say whatever we want to say. We have freedom to express ourselves. But also, we as military, we have a cardinal and sacred responsibility to protect the soul of this state.
Okay, all right. What is it, Mheshimiwa?
I feel uncomfortable when my colleague Honorable Ruku, who has just been nominated to become a cabinet secretary, and by the way, he's late, and I hear his boss doesn't love lateness, so I don't know whether he's late for this show, so I don't know whether he's also going to be called incompetent like the others have.
Wow.
But anyway, that's on the side. I think he's not right when he says that the military is the custodian of the state. I don't think he's right.
Yeah.
He's not right because the military's mandate to play the role of custodian is when there is external aggression.
Yep.
But when it comes to issues of internal politics, the military just observes.
Yeah.
In fact, the military is not supposed to even to suppress its own citizenry. The military defends the citizenry against external aggression.
Yep.
So I still stand with those that are calling for the annulment of the active gazette notice that gave the power to the military to be in the streets or to be on the streets. That gazette notice, by the way, to me, it was irregular because it was passed by a few MPs who rose up very early in the morning at 7 a.m. to Parliament, Some of us were not whipped to go and do the same. And they passed in record 10 minutes an irregular Gazette notice.
It was not 10 minutes.
Irregular. It was
10 minutes.
You can look at the Hansard, my brother.
He was there. How long was it?
Yeah, it was record.
Other than the fight.
Let me tell you.
In record 10 minutes. Please let me finish my submission.
Okay.
Allow me to finish, my brother.
You'll tell me how long it was.
Yeah. So in a record of 10 minutes, they had passed the regulation. Remember, they only whipped amongst themselves the grouping that they knew would not be resisting that. But the ODM members went in, and they put a lot of resistance. Yeah. And that regulation has been active. Why is the regulation still active, yet Kenya is peaceful? We are calm. So we need to lift that regulation. We need to nullify it.
It is desperation.
It is still active. Tomorrow, the military can come back to the streets. Tomorrow, they will be, even now.
Okay.
So I think we need to be careful so that we don't look like we are selling a perception that Kenya is a military state.
Okay.
We are not a military state. We are a democracy. And therefore, when members of parliament who are voted by the power of the people, empowered by this constitution, demands that such a regulation be nullified, then it is viable for any politician and any leader to listen, because we are actually sliding into a military state if you're not careful.
All right. Article 241 of the Constitution, Sub-Article 3, the Defense Forces are responsible for the defense and protection of the sovereignty and territorial integrity of the Republic. Territorial integrity is clear, but on the question of protection of sovereignty, you then go to Article 1 of the Constitution to define what sovereignty of the people is.
Yes.
All sovereign power belongs to the people of Kenya and shall be exercised only in accordance with the Constitution. The people may exercise their sovereign power either directly or through their democratically elected representatives. And sovereign power under this Constitution is delegated to the following state organs: Parliament, National Executive, Judiciary, and is exercised at the national level as well as the county level. I'm still struggling to find what you are talking about, the custodian of the state. Do you have any answer on how long it took?
Yeah, I think just to help Waziri nominee, I think he meant that you know, the state is perpetual and government is transitional. Sure. So I think he was just trying to define what that is. Sam, on the issue of General Kahariri, first of all, Article 240, Sub-Article 8 of the Constitution, with the approval of Parliament, the military can be deployed. Okay, we have had the military in Boni Forest. We have had the military in North Rift, trying to restore some order. In fact, as we mark 1 year since the demise of General Ogola, it was exactly where he perished, trying to see that the schools are reconstructed in that part of North Rift that was at that time very unstable. And there's some relative calm as we talk now. So the military can be deployed. And the statements that are made by General Kahariri, let us also remember that our men and women in uniform are Kenyans. To start with. So General Kahariri also looks at the country from a Kenyan perspective. He knows that if there is no country today, then there is no military. The military can only protect our territory if our internal, we as a country, are safe. But where you see that there could be a way of a country sliding into a form of anarchy, or an unexplained exit of a president, it becomes a concern. You must remember. Is
there a sense of that now?
From where he sits, I don't know if that is what he was alluding. But what you must also remember is that the head of state is the only civilian with a military rank. Sure. Is a commander-in-chief. So as he speaks, he takes care of the country and looks after his own boss. That is a CNC. So when the head of the military makes such a statement, it should concern us as a country as to what they know that we do not know. So all these statements that we make, at the end of the day, as a country, we must speak to ourselves and make sure that we operate within the Constitution that many of us have abhorred to protect.
Okay.
And that is exactly...
All right. I was hoping that you tell me why you don't have a report of what happened to General Gola, but let's touch on that after the break. You're still watching Daybreak on this 1st of April 2025, and when we come back, we'll also be talking about the tour of President William Ruto to the Mount Kenya region. Stay tuned for that.